This is Amir. Most of you probably know him as the guy that taught Hoseok how to climb. But what you don't know is that in 2016, he was in the top 50 strongest climbers in the world. After retiring from competitive climbing, he coached 4 climbers, only for them to become national champions. And even now at 34, he's crushing some of the hardest grades here at BPUMP. During our session, Amir told me about his humble beginnings.
And the holes were from river. So they were like actual stones and rocks, which they bolted.
How he became an IFSC pro climber and what you need to climb as hard as him.
Oh, teach me, master. Ugh. When did you start climbing?
I was 9 years old. We had this wall, which was 3 meters to 2 meters high. And the holes were from river. So they were like actual stones and rocks, which they bolted into the wall. So the wall was like, I don't know, 3 tons, I guess.
You were really rock climbing.
There was something happening in my life that pushed me out of society. That trauma happened, and then the world turned into black and white for me. And then they kicked me out of the gym. So yeah, most of my climbing life, I was just struggling. It wasn't about climbing. You know, for 6 months, I was training on a goalkeeper. Back then, there was no internet. I didn't know what is muscle up. I made it up myself, and I was calling it full pull-ups, something like that. Because I had nothing else. I just had a bar. It wasn't a bar. It was a goalkeeper. You know, that's my. I was doing that for 6 months because they didn't let me into the gym, and I was like 16, 17 years old. There was no one I could ask for help. So it's like, yeah, for me, it wasn't about competition. It was about winning life. There was like this old guy, which is actually a grandpa of one of my trainees, which is now a national champion. He said, you can come when we are training, you just come there and don't tell anyone. So that's one of the guys who helped me. There were other people that just help me to get into the gym, you know, just train. Or they banned me from competitions, and you know, we were in the competition, they just say you cannot compete because we had a call from the state federation that you're not allowed to compete. You know, it's not about even having a better climbing holds, it's just being able to climb or be in the community. So it was it went on for the next 7 years. From my city, which was the worst at the time in terms of this kind of conflicts, I was the only one who survived. Even my brothers gave up climbing. They returned later because we all started together, but the pressure was just too much to just let it go. Yeah, my first coach, he didn't know much climbing. We were just doing push-ups and pull-ups. We didn't know anything about climbing. But I was the only guy who was doing climbing, you know, back then. So they were coaching me for free. I mean, whatever you call it, because they just loved it. Back then, especially in Iran, nothing was about money. People were just doing things because they loved it.
What was it like when you went to your first IFSC?
Dude, for me, it's totally different. Being in IFSC when I was back in Iran, like climbing wasn't a thing, you know? It was me actually just make that a reality in Iran because no one even dared to go to IFSC climbing. They didn't know it's possible.
Yeah, like you broke the barrier.
I broke a barrier, you know, I talked to people, you know, we sorted out the visas problems because back then it was a big barrier, like just having visa. Even the federation didn't know they can't sort it out. They didn't know they can't talk to embassy. I did all those things, and then it was like, oh, we can do that. Then after me and my friend, I brought 2 of us to Adidas Rockstar. And then people realized, oh, we can do this shit. So we started, you know, that's the first time Iran had actually a team going to World Cups. They were already going to World Championships, or World Cups, never. So that was the first time happening. And then we started going to World Cup. There were some very decent climbers in Iran, very hardworking, like with those equipments they had, facilities. They could go and, you know, we have climbers. Ali, he took the 7th place. We have Reza, he took the 1st. He's got nothing. Like no equipment, no facilities. It's just climbing outdoors on a wall, which is like been there forever.
Yeah, of a wall full of stones.
The only thing you get in that country and that situation is just character. The only thing you get is memory. There's nothing else in that. But hopefully most of them are now successful. For me, climbing wasn't about climbing, you know, I just gathered people together, you know, we have friends and stuff, the whole community. I love the whole dynamic around it. And that's it. It was my way of giving meaning to my life. I went to Austria because I was disappointed about everything. I made my way out of the country. And then when I came back from Austria, I was like, now I need to contribute because there were some people helping me during those times. So I said, okay, now I need to help the society as well. So I opened up my own gym. I had a gym, I was helping other people. I had some trainees, which now they are the national champions.
Yeah, dude, I saw there's so many people that call you sensei. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I had like 4 trainees in my life. And all of them are like national champions. The reason they cannot go beyond national champions is because they can only compete in World Cups like once a year if they're lucky. And if they find the money and the time and the approval, etc., etc. And I believe all of them could be standing on podium, all of them. But it's just the way world works.
Dude, I've seen some pictures of you online. Not gonna say anything, but you're muscle.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that having that much muscle stopped you somehow? Like, was it disadvantage in type of moves or?
No, but you need the flexibility. You need the flexibility. So at some point, especially my shoulders, stopped me from doing some moves easier than others.
Oh, yeah.
But in climbing, I think mostly is hip flexibility.
Yeah.
Like this area, pelvic, and then your shoulders.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter how much muscle you have.
Yeah.
I've seen so many bulky climbers, especially recently, they're doing great. For me, training is like doing some specific design moves and repeat them. Like system boards on campus board or even on the wall.
Okay.
So something that, makes you exhausted, you have like intervals, it should be controlled. That's what I call training. And bouldering is just a fun part.
You just said system boards and like spray walls. Let's say I want to practice like left heel hook. How would you set the spray wall up logically?
Spray wall makes you like limited, so you have to be more creative. Like to create some moves that's just for your left hook. Left heel or whatever you want to practice on. So that's it. You just have to come up with some moves and you have to repeat them. Like you make a boulder with 5 moves, at least has 2
left heel hooks.
Left heel hook, and then you do it 10 times with 1 minute interval of rest. But if you have a system board which is symmetric, that makes it much easier to do whatever you want.
So would you say, like, if you would make your perfect gym, like your home gym that has everything, you would have a system board?
Definitely. But for a climber who seeks improvement, and I see it in my friends, like I kept telling them you need to practice, you need to train, but now they are like stuck. They've been like at the same grade for like 1.5 years.
Oh, that was cool.
The black one, put it on the white one. Yeah, it's easier.
Okay, teach me, master.
It's not gonna be 1 shot, 1 kill. And then you swing back. You just grab the white.
I love how your warm-up is just an EQ I can't do. Oh.
Yeah, I can see that now.
That feels so weird.
Yep, kind of like that.
Oh.
But you have to face left.
Face the wall.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot start that for the love of...
Really?
Yeah, teach me. Teach me. I cannot start that move.
I thought that's an easy one.
Have you ever thought about quitting climbing?
For me, it's like, no. Because it's now part of me. So do you create yourself?
Yeah.
And there's no way. Everything in my life revolves around climbing. My friends, my job,
Yeah.
the countries I go, or people I talk to. It's like everything is connected to climbing somehow. This knee cue looks harder to me than the...
No, yeah, I know, dude. This one...
I'm gonna show off.
Yeah, I'm not an EQ climber. I'm not a Shodan climber.
You're definitely an EQ. Just you wait too long. The game of improvement, if you want to improve, is a state of mind. You have to write down what you want to do for the next 6 weeks. And then you stick to that plan. Doesn't matter what. You feel bad, you feel good, you feel motivated, not motivated. You just stick to that plan for 6 weeks. And that creates discipline.
I never ask for people to subscribe at the beginning of my videos, but if you've made it this far, I imagine you're finding it useful. If you want to support the channel, just subscribe down here.
So you have to keep pushing yourself. But the thing is, if you start thinking about it, you never find the answer and you never stick to the plan. So you come up with a plan, you stick to it for 6 weeks, and then you improve the plan. And then you make it harder and harder. Next time you be ambitious. You just do double.
Yeah.
See how much you can push yourself.
Yeah.
Once you reach the threshold, that's where you find, you find the border. Like, what's your limit?
Oh, just give me a minute.
Have you done this EQ?
The EQ, that one, I always follow on like 2 moves before the top.
The most important thing in training that I realized in my life is the rest times. That's more important than the time you're actually doing something. So in workout, it's the time between your sets.
Yeah.
People don't even know it. They just rest until they feel like the next set. 99% of the people I've seen, they just rest until they feel like it. That's not how you train your body. That's how you talk to your body, like what you want to be, what you want to do. By doing, physical stuff, by you're setting your resting time, setting your training time, how intense it is. That's how you talk to your body. That's the language.
Yeah.
And they just, they just do the things chill, and they're like, why we don't improve? Because what are you doing?
I looked up how many climbers there were in 2016, 2017, and there was like 35 million. And I did the math. So you're like 45 and 55 in those years. And it's like you're 0.00001% of climbers. So it's not just talking to anyone.
It's like the competition world is a different, they see it from outside. For them, it's like completely different than the people inside. The people inside, kind of different type of people. But the image that people make out of those people is just wrong. In a good way wrong. So I prefer the image they make.
Before coming to Japan, I would think that that pro climbers basically did everything perfect, and they were like monsters that they touch anything and it's just easy. And then I came here and I was like, Hayato is working like 12-hour days, studying everything, and then doing like 6-8 hour sessions. And then he's supposed to be sleeping, but he has a shift the next morning, and like food, he tries his best.
Media, media only shows those who are like have the most number of sponsors. They could even be not the strongest, but they are the ones who are bold in media right now. People just look at Instagram and they see, okay, this guy is follower, this guy's doing one-on pro, he's the strongest, or whatever. But that's not the case. There are decent people. When you come to Japan, you realize, okay, there's an army of climbers in Japan. 2 of them make it to IFSC.
So many unknown climbers that are just beasts. Like I got here to Japan, and now I look at my Instagram, and I basically can see B15 climbers like everyday videos, and no one knows them. And they have like what you said, media, like 1,000 followers. No one knows. This channel that no one has left.
Why would I even care that I have followers and stuff? It's just that this new world of wanting more of everything, materialism. Like, I just want more followers. I want more followers. I'm just saying it. I'll be honest. But
so follow Amir on Instagram.
Because maybe I'm needy. The problem is that doesn't guarantee that makes money for you.
Oh no.
It depends on your life.
It depends on how you
utilize.
Yeah, for sure. I remember watching a video of like Hoseok and his incredible rise and everything. And then when I came here to Japan and saw, I think this was like 6 months ago, and you were, or a little bit before that, but he came here and you were climbing with him, and that's when I got introduced basically to the idea that you were the one that coached him and like brought him into climbing. And then I saw the video with Jonathan and everything. Very crazy that like 8 years since I started climbing, something that really inspired me was created by you basically. And I'm here
all this work always goes back. It takes time. That's the thing. People want things fast these days. They're like, we want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's why the quality of everything is lower, because we want everything fast. But if you want something real, it takes time. So for us to create a friendship with Hosa, for instance, I don't call it like that sensei stuff, but just a friendship. It took us 10 years. And now it's like, you know, I call him best friend. Good things take time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And people are like so superficial these days. They don't even talk in climbing gym together. Which is very sad. For me, climbing has always been a place to escape from life.
Yeah, no,
Just come here and this is my real life. You know, I see people, make friends, we talk about things we're going through. But it gets less and less common. Even though there are too many people close together, it's just less and less common that people talk together.
You made it look so easy. Even literally like with you, even though we hadn't like talked before, just like even saying hi and just like a small smile, knowing. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I get intimidated by very strong climbers.
I think actually, like some people talk to me like, this guy is like, he looks like he's like a jerk.
Oh, me?
Yeah, and I told him, no, this guy's just introvert and shy. I'm like, this guy's just shy, you know, I know the type, he's like introvert. Why do you call him a jerk?
Oh my God. You said you didn't like pinches?
This is good pinch.
This is easy pinch, easy pinch. You don't have hands, you have vice grips. Like they just close. And then during university for like 3 years, I was very introverted. And I later made friends with some people, right? And they told me for 3 years, I thought you just hated everyone. I was like, this is just my face. I was born like this. Oh,
I don't even judge anyone by the cover, you know, I don't judge the book from the cover because I've been judged my whole life.
Yeah. Comparing myself, like I'm 28 now, so looking 10 years past, I am not the same person. And a huge part of that was exactly climbing. And not only because like calisthenics was the physical part, it gave me some confidence and whatever, but climbing, literally being afraid of heights, it transformed me into something I never thought was possible. Like I'm here talking to you, I'm in front of the camera, all things I find like not easy for me. Heights, I thought I would never be able, like I used to look out the window. I live on a 5th floor. I used to look out the window and get dizzy because I thought I was like, it was like too high. I'm not the same person. Like now I do the English sojo, you know? So it's like having to yell into the gym. Yeah, it's just complete. And it's all because of climbing, the people and just everyone.
It's a good sport because it builds up confidence.
What piece of advice would you give?
Do at least 3 times a week, you know? I don't understand when people just do once a week climbing and they call themselves climber. No, you're not.
That's true.
At least 3 times.
How does a beginner get to advanced?
Having a plan.
Having a plan. Yeah, I think that was key, like you said.
Yeah,
before.
having a plan. Definitely having a plan. If you want to improve.
Yeah, because there's people that think they want to improve but don't really.
Because I think most of the people are delusional about improvement. They just hope to improve. They don't do anything about it. They think just touching the car and the scanner and then coming here makes you improve. No.
Like having clear goals, clear training plan, and knowing what you're aiming for. Because if you just show up, it's not enough after a certain level. Beginner, you might improve, but after a certain level, you just
crazy stuff. No, it all comes down to mentality and mindset. Like someone comes here, he cannot climb Yonkyou, and he's like, how can I do Nidan? I mean, come on, that's not even a question to ask. Start with how can I do Sankyu?
Yeah.
You know?
What are Amir's goals for the future?
For climbing?
For anything.
For anything?
I'm a very open person. Like you can share whatever you want. If climbing is...
Yeah, well, I'm looking for a wife if you can...
Okay, you heard it. Now is when I put the picture of you shirtless.
First for anything else, then we go to the next phase. But okay, I want more in everything. But I know when I get more, anything like fame, money, whatever, I'm gonna spend a good bunch of it on climbing. I mean, like I'm even thinking about like opening a gym at some point in Japan. In Japan? Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be a video. That's gonna be a video.
I'm thinking about it. I'm not saying I'm doing it or I'm gonna do it or I'm capable of doing it, but yeah, that's
No. It always starts with an idea.
Yeah. So that's always going to be some part of a groupie climbing. Yeah, I think my biggest achievement out of climbing is good friends. And that's a lot. Most of the people don't have friends, like the close friends like mine. Like I have friends that we can just share everything with each other. You feel strong when you have friends, when you have family. I think that's my biggest achievement with climbing, not podium, not that kind of stuff.
Dude, thank you very much.
This session with Amir was super fun and I learned a ton of new things. I hope you guys found as much value as I did in this 3-hour long session. If you're interested in another video just like this one, click right here.